More racially diverse. How do you ensure the district welcomes diversity and that children of color do not experience bullying and racism? Start with you,
Goody. I think it's great that we're becoming more diverse and racially integrated. I think it's good for the kids to be associated with kids of all types, religions, races, colors. I think that in order for us to accept it generally, we have to start with the school and the young kids. So teaching them that there really isn't any difference between one child and another because we are all learning the same stuff, and with the Common Core, we're busy enough, that's for sure. I think, what was it? Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry, I lost it.
Our school district is becoming more racially diverse. How do you ensure the district welcomes this diversity and that children of color don't experience bullying and racism?
In my current profession, I mean, I'm in affordable housing, mostly senior properties now, but I've been in multifamily for almost 15 years now, so seeing racially integrated things is pretty much commonplace for me. I would say the best way to handle racial integration in any place is to teach your children acceptance of all, love for all, friendship for all. And teachers, I think, come to any district with that mentality, or at least I would hope. I mean, maybe that's a little naive to say they think. In this day and age, you know, as much as I'd like to say we don't have racial problems, we still find it every day. So making sure that the teachers are aware of the racial differences in the school, giving them more training. Fair housing training is available, and we are required to take it in my business every 2 years. I'm sure that it would be something that to be considered some sort of fair treatment of all program where you could do a training session, because you'll find that it seems common sense like, but maybe not so much until it's said out loud. Because the last fair training housing that I went to, some of the things that came up, you were like, wow, really? You can be taken for a loop. I think the key would be to make sure everybody's informed, to make sure we're vetting any candidates for employment here well on that front, to make sure that children are happy, because happy children learn better anyway. So, thank you.
I would say that in my experience, children are, figuratively speaking, born colorblind. Little kids are not racists. It's learned behavior by and large from parents and from family members and from perhaps society. I think that if we start with that idea that children do not have an innate feeling that black children or Native American children or any other children not like them are different, if we can. I'm sorry? Sorry. I believe that if we can start out showing children that you need to be colorblind, that's the biggest thing we need to start with. This isn't a district that has deep-seated racial divides. I'm very familiar with the districts in Salamanca and Gowanda. There is a huge Native American, Caucasian racial problem in those schools that goes back generations. It isn't getting better. If you go into Lackawanna, you have some Yemenite community that is very, very not integrated with other districts necessarily. You have to deal with that, I think, first of all, in the family. It's not something that you should be taught in school. It's not something that you learn in school. It's something that you learn at home. Certainly, there are programs now that teachers are very sensitive to bullying, whether it's just physical bullying or racial bullying. I think the teachers need to be commended as to how they handle that. I've gone to school for a long time, I've been around schools for a long time. I can't ever remember a teacher who was a racist. I can remember a lot of teachers who weren't necessarily happy to be teachers. I can remember a lot of teachers who weren't very good at coaching, but I never, ever ran across a teacher who was racist, and I certainly haven't seen it in Holland. So, yes, Holland is more racially diverse, but it really isn't very racially diverse, and I think that as long as your children are taught what they need to learn at home, racism is not quite the problem it is in perhaps other areas.
Anything to add?